What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, and I'm here today with an updated Dinomist deck profile. I pulled a heavy metal foes Electronite out of Extreme Force. I went to Walmart like 3 or 4 days ago, and I literally bought one pack, and I pulled a heavy metal foes Electronite. You cannot believe how hard I was freaking out. It was crazy. Let me adjust the camera a little bit, but yeah, it was crazy. I freaked out. But anyway, I have a heavy metal foes Electronite, and in this deck, it is crazy. It is so insane. You can get out Electronite and two Cyber Dragon Infinities fairly easy. I mean, you just gotta draw like a good bit of level 5s or like a decent amount of level 5s, and you're like searching them off of Electronite's effect. You're searching it off of Charge. There's just and you might end up drawing it off Electronite's effect. It's just crazy how consistent it is now. And the loop with Electromite and Dinomist Charge is pretty crazy too. You pop one, you add back to your hand what you pop. You get to add one from your extra deck, and you draw a card. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, let's just get right into the deck profile. I took out the Draco Slayers just because they're not as good to like the like how I wanted to run it. Like my main purpose was get Ceratops in your hand as fast as possible with a level 4 Dinomist monster. Normal summon the level 4 Dinomist monster and special summon the Ceratops off its own effect. So you could just instantly link summon without pendulum summoning it. So you could just go ahead and just go crazy with it. And it happens fairly often, so it's really good right now. But I think I might be able to make it better with some extra deck choices. But for now, the main deck is pretty solid. Maybe you take out some cards like pendulum, like you could add pendulum switch. But first, you run one Dinomist Spinos. His effects are pretty good. You contribute a Dinomist monster, he can attack directly, and you contribute another one, he can attack twice. His scale is 3. All the scales 3's effect are the same. That if a Dinomist monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can pop this instead. So all the 3's are the same, all the 6's are the same. The 6 for Dinomist Rex, you run 3 of him. The 6 scale is pretty much the same, except if it would be targeted, you pop this instead. And its other effect is you contribute one to, I think you can make a second attack on an opponent's monster in a row. And I think you can, and then if it attacks a defense position, it does piercing. And then you can shuffle one card from your opponent's hand or their side of the field into the deck, and then this card gains 100 attacks. So that's pretty good for getting rid of things, but you almost never use those effects. Next, you run Ceratops. He's actually the heart of this deck now. If you control a Dinomist monster and you don't control him, you can special summon him from your hand. So like I said, you just normal summon a level 4 Dinomist monster. That's why I took the Draco Slayers out, because they're not Dinomist monsters. So it kind of messed my hands up. And I added other level 4, so it's not like I messed up the consistency of the level 4 pool. So, and next, I was running this at 2. But at 3, you need all the level 5s you can get in your hand. So running it at 3 just makes it where you can draw it more often. Its effect is okay. I mean, and also running even numbers of scales is pretty important. So you always have a set of scales in your hand without even having to use Electronite's effect. Because this deck, like with Electronite, it's really, really good. But if you can't get them out, it's still decent. You can get out maybe like just a Cyber Dragon Infinity by itself, like definitely. You could at least do that unless you drew like really bad. Next, you use 3 Pateran. Again, its effect doesn't matter, but it does have like a really good effect. When it destroys a monster, you can search your deck for any Dinomist card. So spells, traps, monsters, whatever. Same scale effect. Next is Plesius. His effect is you decrease your opponent's monster's attack and defense by 100 for each Dinomist monster. You run 3 of him too. Next, I had to put in some proxies because for the life of me, I cannot find these cards. I know I have them somewhere because I used to play Dinomist like old with like Ankleos and Stego and all the other ones that they had, but I took them out for the Draco Slayers. But I put them back in for this new build. So you run 2 Stego just because you don't want to see too many level 4s. But seeing like enough, and Stego has a decent effect. Like you mostly want to see level 5s, but seeing at least one level 4 is good. So that's why I run that. And then you run 2 Ankleos. You have to keep your scales together. So, and it also, you can still bring out level 4s in this deck, which it isn't bad. Ending on a heavy metal fuzz Electronite and and a Babuska. Since Electronite can't be switched to defense, his effects are fine. And then a Babuska just stuns out your opponent unless they're playing a Link deck, which that's pretty unfortunate if they are. But yeah, that's it with the monsters. So their effects don't matter at all, actually. They're both their effects have to do with banishing. If something attacks something, it's not very good. I think Stego actually has one where if it's attacked, if it like any Pendulum monster attacks anything, whatever it's an attack banished, and then Ankleos, if it destroys something, whatever it destroys get banished. So Stego is better than Ankleos, but again, their effects don't really matter. Next, for spells, you run 3 charge. This is also one of your key components. It's okay if you don't get this in your opening hand, but if you do, you are in a really good position to make 2 Cyber Dragon Infinities. This card in your hand is crazy because it's how you get like the free draw one off Electromite, because you don't lose any advantage because you get back what you sent or what you pop with his effect, and you also get back another card from your extra deck. It's just crazy all the kinds of stuff you can do with it. Next, you run 2 Instant Fusion for Panzer Dragon, and I was running CB Theseus in the extra deck, but I took it out for a second copy of Panzer Dragon since now Cleafort Genius is out, so it takes 2 machines, so I can always just do that. I don't even run my Starboy anymore because it's not as good as Cleafort Genius. And then Heavy Metal Foes Electronite obviously blows it out of the water. Next, you run 2 Desires. Desires is pretty good in this deck just because you can draw extra Pendulum monsters to Pendulum summon them out. I've done it a few times where I just filled my board up with Pendulum monsters first turn. Like I just have an Electromite and then a full board of Pendulum monsters. I'd overlay into 2 Cyber Dragon Infinities, and then I'd have like a Rex or something left over, like a level 4 or a level 5 left over. And that's when you're in a really good position. After you get 2 Cyber Dragon Infinities on the field, your opponent really can't do anything. They'd have to blow it up 3 times. Next, you run 2 Twin Twister for getting rid of back row and the other like most popular deck of the format, Pendulums. And they're also really cheap, so you gotta look out for them at like locals and stuff. So besides like the Metal Foes Electronite, but you still gotta look out for them because they still are pretty powerful even without Electronite. Next, you run 1 Upstart. It's basically like running 39 cards. Why wouldn't you? The 1,000 life points doesn't really matter because you're gonna attack them with so much anyway because you have just a swarmed board. Last card, Dark Hole. If you have Regeki, run Regeki. I just said Dark Regeki, but if you have Regeki, run Regeki. But Dark Hole's a good option. I mean, you mostly use it going second, so it doesn't really matter. So that's it for spells. You don't run very many spells or traps, really. I think you run 11 spells and 7 traps. You can cut down on some of the traps if you like. Like, for instance, I run 2 Dinomist Howling. You can take out one of these for a Pendulum Switch, and that's probably what I'm going to do whenever I get a Pendulum Switch, because you don't really want to draw this. You'd rather it be a Pendulum Monster, or at least a spell that can get you to a Pendulum Monster, like Upstart, Charge, anything that'll just help you get more advantage. Next, I play 2 Rush. Rush is actually really good, and it comes in clutch a lot, because if you just draw it, you just set it, and then you can make next turn plays. I mean, obviously if you live that long, but if you already have the 2 Infinities on the field, then you probably are. So you can just set this and then pop off even more next turn. And then last, for the main deck, you just run the Solemn Brigade. This is really good. I mean, this kind of slows you down again, but you need some kind of protection, otherwise you're going to get destroyed if you don't make the Cyber Dragon Infinity play. So you need some kind of protection to fall back on if you can't do it, and that's just why I run that. Next, with the extra deck, extra deck's pretty self-explanatory. I know how I mostly have Xyz first, but I want to showcase exclusively the links in this extra deck just because they're like the most important now. First, you run 2 heavy metal foes Electronite. I only have 1. If you can only afford 1, because like for real, I can't even afford this. I pulled it, so. And I'm probably going to buy the second one. I'm going to have to save up for it, but I'm probably going to just because I see how good it is. It honestly probably is worth $60 just because of how good it is. But if you don't have the money for 2, you can run 1 and it's fine. And if you don't even have the money for 1, you can run Cleafort Genius. He's pretty good too. He can't be targeted and stuff. So he's like, he's not as good as Electrolyte, but he's still pretty good. I'm really glad Dinomist is like this, like Machine and Water and Pendulum, because it has like the most Link monsters at its disposal, like of any deck besides like a pure Link deck. So I'm really glad I picked this deck like a long time ago because it's turned out really good for me. Next, you earn one Cleave Genius. I actually don't have one. My friend Clay has one. I'm trying to get it off of him, but I don't have one right now. But it's unaffected by spells and traps, I think, or it can't be targeted by spells and traps. Just the classic Cleafort thing. It can't be. It's unaffected by other Link monsters, so I don't think it can get Boar loaded, which is nice. If you have a Boar load, by the way, you can run it in this extra deck. It's actually pretty easy to get out. You can make a choice between 2 Cyber Dragon Infinities or a Boar load. I mean, I'm picking the Cyber Dragon Infinities, which is better, but Boar load's still a good option, and you can always get it out like going second. Like going second, Boar load's actually really good. But anyway, but yeah, Cleave Genius. Whenever after it's Link Summon, or no, if 2 machine, or I think it's either 2 machines or just anything is Pendulum Summon and it's arrows, you can search your deck for level 5, which is really nice. It's not as good as him because it doesn't work out with the charge combo and you just get a bunch of resources. But it's good setting up next turn plays. That's why you only run it at 1 as like a fallback if your Electromnights get like, you know, taken out the game or something. Like if they get Ghost or Winter Cherries, yeah, if they get like Winter Cherry or something, the Cleave Genius is good to fall back on. Next, you run 1 Proxy Dragon just for some like insane Link plays where you can get like a really baller board. I don't run 3 Cyber Dragon Infinities and 3 Novas, but I probably could get it out if I had if I was just running the game. I probably could get it out. It'd be really hard. Not in 1 turn, obviously, but if you're like playing the grind game, you probably could. Next, 1 Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker is just a really good Link, and I like it a lot. I almost never bring it out, but it's just a cool little tech just in case I need to get over something. It's good to have. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like the best card ever, but it's also not the worst. Next, you just run your 2 Infinities, 2 Novas. Pretty normal lineup for Dinomist. You could run 3 if you want. Don't really see the point of it. That's enough. I run 1 Magnalinger, or no. Yeah, that's it, Magnalinger. I almost never bring this out, but it is good to have that backup if they do get rid of your Cyber Dragon Infinities. And I'm not trying to talk it up like you're gonna do it every time, but you do it a lot. Like I'm impressed with how often you can do it. If you played like 5 games, you'd probably be able to get it out like 2 or 3 times, and it's tight. After that, you pretty much won. Next, this is optional. You can run him. I'd take him out for something else, but I currently don't have anything else, so you can run like a Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon's really good because it gives some defensive play too. Or Silent Honor Arc. Castell, you know, he's just really good. Babushka, like I said, Heavy Metal Fuzz Electrolyte. Babushka is actually a pretty good play because Electrolyte's effects still are active. Panzer Dragon. So Panzer Dragon's also really good just for the instant fusions. I currently only have 1 too. This is actually a CB Theseus, but I took it out just because I wasn't running them with Starboy anymore, so there was no point. So yeah, that's about it for the deck profile though. Thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I'm sorry for all the proxies, guys, but I kind of want to tell you guys what you should be running without having to have everything, because I think my information is still good even without me having all the cards for them. And I mean, I got the Heavy Metal Fuzz Electrolyte, guys. Come on, I'm good. Don't even act like that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the deck profile, please like and subscribe. We're giving away a Ghost Ogre on the channel. I meant to do that first. Like I meant to mention that first, but I forgot. But whatever, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That was super off center, but peace.